Welcome to Dry Arabia! And today, spawning in the east side of the map, representing Team Liquid in blue, we've got Demu playing as the Malians. And his opponent today on the west side of the map in yellow, we've got lucifron playing as the Delhi Sultanate. Welcome everyone to this Age of Empires forecasted game. And it's a match from the Call to Arms tournament hosted by EGC TV. Make sure you check them out on Twitch because it's a fantastic organization doing great work for the Age of Empires 4 community, bringing these tournament games to you. And well, let's talk about civilization matchup on this Dry Arabia. Now, the Malians, I think, are in a really interesting spot. They've gone through a couple of changes recently in the most recent patch, which has been a while ago, to be fair. But things have changed. They've kind of gone for a more like sort of cow boom approach rather than fast castle for garrison landmark choice. And I think generally the Malians are looking quite strong in many ways. And I think this additional benefit that they can get in the feudal age of the specialized units like the javelin throwers and the donsos, it's really putting them in a good position. And I think that's going to be the case for the Delhi Sultanate today against them. Because the Delhi are very much a feudal age civilization. That's where they kind of have their main power, their kind of strength lies in that. You know, they're not too bad in the castle age as well, and late, super late imperial age, when they can get super kind of population efficient elephants. But they have to have a crazy economy in order to do that. And well, with the Delhi Sultanate getting free technologies, it's obviously going to be very nice for them. And that's a nice eco bonus for the feudal age, especially if it's a prolonged one, because they get the techs for free, of course. But I think that the situation as well, with the Delhi Sultanate needing to get onto that map, to get those sacred sites, is something that's very characteristic about the civilization. The consideration for the Malians or any other civilization going against the Delhi is, well, how do they stop them? How do they put pressure on them? How do they deny the sacred sites as much as possible? And how efficient are they going to be at doing that? Now, I think civilizations which are geared to play prolonged feudal age do very well at doing that. And I think, especially because of the fact that the Delhi Sultanate are not a knight civ, you know, they're not French, they're not the Rus. The Malians have got direct counters to whatever the Delhi can throw at them. The Delhi might come out with the Ghazi raid as well. The Malians have got donsos, which are probably some of the best type of spearman unit in the game. The ability to have that ranged throw of the spear can really get good hits before they're taking the engagement even. And then, of course, archers is very commonly placed by the Delhi Sultanate, and well, they've got javelin throwers, Malians. So I would be expecting Malians to go quite heavy on donsos and javelin throwers. The only problem with that, of course, is very much a heavy like infantry combination, which does mean that the mobility on the map isn't as great. And so not having the mobility when you want to get it on the map, you want to get those sacred sites, it's difficult. You've got to make sure your army positioning is very strong. You know, just like very much like the English, you know, going for spearmen, longbowmen. If you get caught out in a bad position, your army's out of position, you're too far ahead, you've bitten off too much than you can chew, and you take a bad fight, things can snowball quite badly with that kind of infantry composition. We'll see what has in store for us today, because it's going to be a fascinating matchup, I think. And it's going to be the Mansa Quarry for the Malians, the landmark of choice, and the Dome of the Faith. And no real surprises here. Sometimes you do see Tower of Victory, but I think generally Dome of the Faith is something that players are opting back into getting more of now, especially with the scholars being quite strong in the feudal age. So we'll see. The Tower of Victory could be quite nice in this matchup, but he's gone for the Dome of the Faith in any case, lucifron. And there's that age up for Demu just a little bit quicker than lucifron's. As you can see, lucifron getting all those eco upgrades completely free. It'd be interesting to see how lucifron, how aggressive he's going to be. Is he going to drop a stable first? Is he going to drop a blacksmith? He's going to be one of the two. It's very rarely go for archery rangers. So we'll see how he decides to spend his first 150 wood, which he now does have. And he's placed the foundation for a stable. So no real surprises there, to be fair, because lucifron, one of the two Spanish brothers known well in the Age of Empires 4 community. Himself and Vortex are very aggressive players. We'd love to see them play. That's partly one of the reasons why I picked this match in particular as well, with the civilization combination and also the player combination. It's going to be a nice match indeed, I think. And well, if you guys have been enjoying the casted content on the channel, do feel free to give the video a like. It really helps the channel out and the videos in particular. I'm hoping to bring plenty more Age of Empires 4 content for you guys. The new DLC, I think I mentioned it every video now. I'm just so hyped for the new DLC. Hopefully it'll come soon. We don't know. But we do know there's two civilizations coming out, the Japanese and the Byzantines. What I would love to know from you guys in the comment section below is, which civilization are you most interested in? Which civilization are you more excited about to see? Is it going to be the Japanese or the Byzantines? I think... do you know what? I love the idea of both civilizations. I think obviously we want to see the ins and outs of them a little bit more. But yeah, you guys might have strong opinions about it. So let me know in the comment section below. Is it going to be the Japanese or Byzantines? I'd like to see what you guys are feeling out for the new DLC coming soon. Well, something that's going to be interesting to consider for the Malians as well. We talked about how the Delhi can have the free technologies and it kind of puts them in a good position for the feudal age, like an extended feudal age. Well, the Malians, they could go for a cow boom. It's something very common for them. And the good thing about the cow boom, whilst it's a little bit longer to take effect or to really bring about huge benefits in terms of economy compared to, for example, a second town center, if you give it 5 to 10 minutes, the cow boom really pays for itself. And the thing to think about as well, it doesn't take any population space. I generally think this has to be something that has to change. I think super late game, the Malians can be really strong with the cow boom. I suspect maybe, I don't know, no idea, but I would have thought maybe they'd add some sort of population space to the cows because it is super strong. Maybe not necessarily in this matchup is a big issue, but because you'd expect this matchup to be kind of done and dusted within the half an hour, I think, one way or the other. I'd be surprised if it goes for longer than that, especially with the 2 players involved. But we'll see. We might be in for an interesting one. You never quite know with these players. There are the 3 scholars heading out onto the mid-map to get those sacred sites. And in terms of military, there's not much on the field here for Demu. He's gone for the double pit mine first, just to get that eco ramping up, and he's got a couple of Donsos just to protect that villager building out on that northern pit mine. Couple of Ghazi raiders doing exactly what they say on the name. They're trying to raid on that wood line. But the wood line is sufficiently close to that town centre that they shouldn't be able to do too much more damage. And but the good thing is the Ghazi raiders are really just keeping the army back here for the Malians, ideally. And that's what lucifron needs to do. Just needs to get onto that sacred site, get them, and get that gold trickling in. And it could be quite important that actually Demu gets some units out quickly, because you won't want to let those sacred sites be in the hands of the Delhi for too long. That gold trickling in will be very nice for Delhi and be able to afford castle age before too long if he's sitting on them. Interestingly enough, something I love to do when I'm playing the Delhi myself is actually get a market. Obviously not now, but when the time comes, if he is on the sacred sites and keeping them for a long time, it's to get a market and just play a really extended feudal age. It can be really nice to trade in that gold and in for food and wood and just pump out more and more units. It depends on your playstyle, I suspect. But yeah, the gold can be very useful in terms of going to castle age in any case. There's the cattle ranch being built here by Demu. Cow boom is starting to happen. And, well, the first 2 sacred sites have been captured by Delhi Sultanate, with the couple of Donzos heading that position for Demu. As you can see, he's get that first hit with the throwing of the spears. It's so useful. It's such a nice touch for this unit. It's so strong. Here comes a couple of archers, or at least one archer for lucifron. It won't be enough to deal with the Donzo. He's going to have to head off that position. And he does keep a singular, double Donzo actually. Well, one single Donzo, one javelin thrower on that sacred site just to decap that. You want to decap that as soon as possible. 3 sacred sites have been captured, but obviously this one's going to go down very soon. Ghazi Raid is actually going to try and jump on this. There's only 3 Donzos that don't turn around and fight. He's going to use the ranged attack for the Donzos really here, Malians, and, well, he pushes that away for now. So we'll decap that central sacred site. And cow boom is well on its way. The 3rd cattle ranch being built. Cows need to go into that one. He didn't get the memo. He went to the wrong place. He didn't get the map. And, well, heading into almost the 9th minute of the game, we're going to be seeing a blacksmith. So the first blacksmith for the Delhi Sultanate. Oh, double blacksmith. Yeah, we'd expect that, actually, to be fair. And there's an early market, so he's trading the gold in straight away, actually, here, lucifron. He wants to pack in that punch in the feudal age. And he will be getting that double blacksmith upgrades coming in pretty sharpish. Does have 3 scholars in the Dome of the Faith as well, so the research time won't be too slow. But with only now, well, actually, he doesn't. I don't think he's got any of the sacred sites at this moment. Does he? No, sorry, I'll take that back. He's got 2 of them in the center and the south. And well, it's good to have 2 than none, that's for sure. And I think Demu's going to want to try and pressure those as soon as he can. Does have a large number of our army units here heading southwards to this central sacred site. One in the north has been decapped. It's going to decap this one with just a scout. And with the cows starting to come out, this could be a dangerous situation for lucifron, because whilst he is pumping out units and he's getting those free blacksmith upgrades, well, Demu's slowly but surely building up that economy. Now, the concern for lucifron in this matchup in particular is that if it does get to the castle age, the Delhi kind of struggle to get that initial power spike, but they do get, you know, they do get typical units you'd expect, like the Lancer, the man-at-arms they can pump out. But the trouble is upgrading pre-existing feudal age units is a tricky business. They need to get the veterancy upgrades, and the veterancy upgrades take a long time. So it's not like other civilizations where you go up to the castle age and then you just go for it. You get the veterancy upgrades, it comes in, and you fight with your feudal age army that is existing. The Delhi Sultanate, they have to wait quite a while. So it's a really tricky situation. If it's a dynamic where the Delhi are trying to push the Malians, and the Malians have gone to the castle age first, the Delhi might throw away a couple of the feudal age units just to do as much damage as possible, and then transition to the castle age themselves, and then get purely castle age units like the Lancers and the Man-at-Arms. But we'll see what he decides to do. But it's a tricky business, you know, going against civilizations if you're the Delhi Sultanate and go to the castle age. If you've got a large pre-existing feudal age army, it doesn't get to the castle age army veterancy for quite some time. And when the Malians do get to the castle age, they're going to have great eco behind this because they've got free food coming in passively. They've got free gold coming in passively as well from the 2 pit mines. So this is a bit of a danger for lucifron. So whilst he's trying to get the sacred sites, which is his main primary objective, it feels like in this battle, it feels like Demu is denying what makes the Delhi Sultanate great. The Delhi Sultanate aren't doing anything to deny the Malians' cow boom and what makes the Malians great. So it's an interesting way to think about this particular match so far. It does feel like Demu's ahead, because whilst there's 3 villages behind, you just factor in the cows and the gold that's coming in passive from the pit mines, and that more than compensates with only 1 sacred site, or the 2nd sacred site now capped for lucifron. But it is no joke that gold coming in from the sacred site is very, very useful. He's got 217 in the bank, which we'll see if he trades that in very soon. Donzo just trying to focus on the Scholar rather than the Ghazi Raider, and now does switch his attention to the Ghazi Raider. And he might just get it from the range attack. Does he get the range attack off? I don't think he throws it. Oh, he gets it. He snipes it. Nicely done. And that's actually quite critical when you think about the fact that that could have been healed up by the Scholars. But here comes a big engagement here. lucifron heading to the front lines of Demu's base, but Demu peels back for now, although he's going to head back and chase that down a little bit. And don't blame him. I think Demu obviously wants to try and play a bit of cat and mouse, make sure the cow boom gets up and running. And he could even consider going to the castle age if he halts production for a little while, but we'll see what he decides to do. It looks like he's going to try and pressurize the sig sites, which is certainly, you know, the right thing to do. He wants to deny that gold coming in. Do someone trading in that gold, as you can very much see. Down to 81 gold now. Going to be heading around on the north side of that wood line. Could see an engagement here. A couple of the javelin throwers, or the Donsos as well, throwing their spears. And that's critical. Like, double ranged units means that it could get a lot of damage per second without actually engaging in a big battle. It pushes us away. The Archer's going to head forward, try and snipe a couple of Donsos if they could. They didn't manage to. And now they're both back off. A bit of a cat and mouse game so far on Dry Arabia. In the south, well, the sacred site is being kept alive for now. The Archer will take care of that Donso, and the Scholar might go down though, which is a bit of a shame. He's going to try and save it for as long as possible. Actually, might survive. He should survive. Actually, I'm not sure he does. The javelin, get him, Donso. Oh, he doesn't get it in the end, and the sacred site gets capped. And now he's back on 3 sacred sites. You can see picking off a, I think that was a scout in the end. It's a large number of Donsos here. Holy moly, javelin throws. Here behind. Oh, bit of a raid here from the Ghazi Raiders on that wood line, as you'd expect, held by their name. The town centre fire going to be picking off one of the Ghazi Raiders on retreat. And I like what lucifron's doing. Like, the idea is that whilst he's trying to defend the sacred sites, if you put some pressure, of course, Demu doesn't have that mobility. The south sacred site will be decapped, and the centre one as well. And it looks like it's going to head towards the north now, Demu. Here comes the engagement though. Archers there trying to pick off as many of the Donsters as possible. Should get quite a few of them. Javelin throwers heading on the front lines to try and snipe a couple of the archers. Bit of an overkill coming out there. Might need to split the units a little bit better. Heads into the stealth forest there. lucifron to back off. And great use of the stealth forest to get out of there. Looking at the economies, 47 villages to 43. But I'd probably say that Demu's ahead in terms of gathering, because of the pit mines and the cow boom. And the military is pretty equal. 62 to 57 at the moment. But of course, the blacksmith upgrades coming in nicely here for lucifron. Getting that bloomery, getting that armor upgrade as well. The fitted leatherwork, trying to deny the northern sacred site, won't manage it. The Ghazi Raiders will take out their counter unit. There's only 2 of them, of course, so the Donsos just trying to hold on for as long as possible. They do get sniped, but here comes the reinforcements. A lot of hardened Donsos for the Malians. And yeah, lucifron does need to back away from there for sure. Middle sacred site has been decapped. Southern sacred site has been decapped. And the northern one is going to be decapped very soon as well. lucifron struggling to get control of the map. He might be thinking about going to the castle age though. Look at that food count. 34 villages on food. Let's switch over to the food income per minute. It's doing significantly better. Donso's actually getting hit by the archers there for lucifron, for Demu rather. Here come the javelin throws. Just going to try and snipe as many of the archers as possible. Let's be careful that the Ghazi Raiders don't dive on that. Ghazi Raiders going to try and jump on the javelin throws if they can. Demu escapes through the stealth forest, and while lucifron heads back again. Maybe thinking about heading towards the Castle Age. Now that thought is definitely in the mind of Demu, because look at the resources, almost there with the food. And there's no surprises here. It's going to go with the coral, Grand Fulani coral. Well, that's a bit of an awkward position for the cattle. You might want to take that. I mean, can't build on it now because of that. That's an unfortunate placement. Oh, I don't think these cows are affected. Oh, that's a bit rough. Anyway, it is what it is. Might need to just extend it, build more cattle here then, I guess. But that cow, spoiling it for the rest of them. The Northern Sacred Site, that's what's being challenged at the moment. Demu won't be able to keep that though. And looks like lucifron going to go for the middle one. Now the fact that lucifron has traded in his gold is a bit of an issue because he can't afford Castle Age, right? That's the problem right now because his opponent is going to get to that Castle Age. And so we talked about this earlier in the game. This is where a situation where lucifron might just look to pressurize in the feudal age. Just use his feudal age units, try and get to that Castle Age as well. And then at the end of that, when he does get to the Castle Age, just spam out Castle Age units, Lancers, and Man-at-Arms. Because these guys will take ages to upgrade, and I don't think he's got time on his hands. Going to dive in with the archers a little bit. He goes around the southern aspect of that wood line to try and fight another day. It does have this middle sacred site and the southern one, so he's going to be getting that gold trickle in, but he's going to need that gold quicker. I think he may have just bought it in the end. I'm not so sure. Yeah, I think he might have just bought that Castle Age. House of Learning, the landmark of choice here for lucifron. And I didn't want to delay, of course. He's going to try and keep the feudal age army alive, though, for now. He's not diving, he's not looking to do damage. I think the Malians are getting those feudal age upgrades. Stables are coming out. Sofa is going to be really important here because, well, lucifron doesn't really have anything anti-cavalry at the moment. He's got Ghazi Raiders, which can do a decent job. And it's mostly archers. So a nice transition to stable units for the Malians could be really strong. Looks like he's going to try and deny some of the sacred sites. Ghazi Raiders diving on the villages on the gold. That's a problem for Demu. He wants that gold income. Does have the pit mine still generating that gold, but there's a couple of Donzos picking apart those. Wait, he's not reacting. Demu's losing a lot of villagers. He's only reacting now. It's down to 46 villagers. 9 villagers were killed there in total. That was absolutely huge. Ghazi Raiders going to do what they do best and try and raid, but here comes an army from Demu on the front lines. Going to try and push the Delhi Sultanate, make sure that their army gets back at home, and they are back at home with the archers. But look at this. It's going to take a full 2 minutes. He doesn't have that time there, lucifron, I'm afraid. And it looks like Demu's going to try and push in as hard as he can, and if he does, he's going to catch lucifron with his pants down because he doesn't have those veterancy upgrades. Villagers on the deer pack have been pushed away. That's a problem. There's a lot of idle time being caused there. Could attack the villagers on the woods. Heading away from that position, though. I think, in generally, though, lucifron is pushing this back slightly. The army's a bit split, but so many villagers are idle. Here come a couple of lancers for lucifron. He needs as many of those as he possibly can. He needs the archers to focus on the Donzos. The good thing about the archers is that without the veterancy upgrade, they can still pack a punch against the Donzos. He's taking care of the Donzos, but now he's up against the veteran javelin throwers. This is not what he wants to do. Not with archers. He's got a couple of lancers. The lancers need to be the guys stealing the show, but the lancers are engaging with the Donzos. A bit of a mismigrate here from lucifron, and that's not common for him. Not by any means. And he's going to push away the javelin throwers now. It does have the critical numbers of archers to do that. But here comes an army in the south part of lucifron's base, keeping a lot of the villagers idle on that woodline very soon, if not killing them. And slowly but surely, lucifron's pushing this back, despite having weaker numbers. Kind of surprising. The army for Demu has been split up, and that's probably the reason why Northern Sacred Site has been challenged. The archers going to try and focus on the javelin throwers, and there's a couple of the veteran software as well. Those archers need to back off from lucifron. He doesn't have a meat shield. It's just one unit there, one type of unit. It's going to back into the army that Demu has. It's a massive trap because there's javelin throwers waiting for them. A couple of Ghazi Raiders again raiding in the south, but that's not the main story of the show today, because those Ghazi Raiders aren't going to be doing what the veteran software are doing. That is chasing down those archers, and Demu takes the game number 1 on Dry Arabia. And well, the Malians, they're looking strong in the feudal age. Could they be the new king of the feudal age? I hope you guys enjoyed the casted game. Take care and see you next time.